Focusing our attention to Rise and Pittsburgh Knights, the matchup that's about to be before you. It's going to be a great one, and it's going to be a big test for Pittsburgh Knights, who, Ribs, today they've just had a hard time. You know, they lost to Team Queso early on. That was an upset in my opinion, but they haven't been showing great strength in my opinion, Ribs. We look at the pool and, you know, Rise sitting there 100% map win rate, Team Queso above that of Pittsburgh Knights, T-Gaming obviously without a win, but regardless, Ribs, this pool is not shaping out the way I was expecting it.
I mean, we said Pool A and Pool D were the two pools that were kind of like the death pools, and already we might see an upset in Pool D if United happens to lose that map 5. Sure. We saw an upset with TQ. On the side of the Knights, not really showing what they're capable of just yet. I think this is an opportunity for them to now play up to their opponent's level. They played down to their opponent's level earlier. That's why they lost. And now they can play up to the level of Rise, who is currently undefeated in map count, 6-0. Alongside KCP and Noble, and we could have ourselves a championship caliber match here. This is a very storied matchup. We love the Knights versus Rise. This is something that we always look forward to, whether it's on a Friday, Saturday, or Championship Sunday. It just comes down to what version we get of these two teams. I'm always hoping for the best version. Map 5, round 11, 1v1 for the bread. Icy versus Dezo. I don't know. Just make it fun, please. For the people at home and for us on the desk, just make it fun for us. That's all we want.
Well, Rise has the most passionate group of gamers, in my opinion, and they definitely want to be champions. Rise still hasn't won a championship, and Avexys wants to be that guy to bring the championship to Rise, but he's going to be opposite of Raver, so it's not going to be easy by any means. Ryan, these two guys are passionate, and they're hungry for a win.
Yeah, these are two incredibly talented players that are just absolutely the most fun to watch you can imagine, right? You have Avexys, incredible movement. Raver, one of the best slayers. You can see respectively the stats across the board, right? You got players in the top 10 in their respective categories. Raver in the top 10 in all 3 categories. Both these guys are going to be slaying out. Both these guys are going to be putting in damage. Both these guys are going to be flying around the map. You can look forward to seeing a lot of action out of these two.
Yeah, Ribs, anything to say? I mean, obviously, Avexys sitting there, damage per respawn in 5th, Raver very close in 4th. Across the board, Raver obviously has the better stats, but stats isn't everything, is it?
No, yeah, it's actually, it challenges me a little bit to think about the fact that Raver's top 10 in all 3 of those statistics, and all 3 of those statistics kind of cover all 3 game modes. But his team was 3-7 in Pro League. It's like, meanwhile, yeah,
and Monkyz too.
Monkyz is like the top 4 as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
That it bothers me, and there's so many different ways to spin it. But in the end, it's like, are they, padding their stats? Are they more concerned about their individual performance? Whereas Avexys, he has impressive stats, but he's a team player. He's a vocal leader, and therefore his team is 8-1 or 9-1. So when I look at stats, it's like you said, it doesn't tell the whole story. And on the side of the Knights, I hope they're not worried about stats at all right now. I hope they're worried about just playing as a unit and being proficient, because they haven't been in ever since season 3 of Gears Esports has started. They just haven't been the same Knights.
And the same thing for Fire Knights. We were talking about it. Mechanically, they're a great team. We've seen them have great series, but it all really what matters at the end of the day is the W, right? So it's time for Pittsburgh Knights to utilize those stats and finally close out series. Let's take a look at our maps, Ryan, and see which ones we're going to be rolling with. Pittsburgh Knights obviously have a lot of favorites, and Ritual is not a bad map to start off for them.
No, not at all. It's definitely an interesting map pool. I do like that Harbor Escalation. We talk about the fact that the Pittsburgh Knights are constantly picking that Harbor. I think that's definitely a good map for them, but I do think this Rise team can bang a little bit over there too. A lot of these guys have been playing that Harbor Escalation for quite some time, whether it's on Gears 4 or Gears 5. So that's a map that I'm very, very excited to watch. But as I look across the board, man, I'm looking at the executions, actually. I would love to see these two teams just take game 5 for the win on that Clocktower execution. Across the board, though, looks like a good series. You got Reactor, Rituals, a fun map cycle, I would say.
Ribs, any concerns for you, whether it be for Rise or Pittsburgh Knights on any of the 5 maps?
Not a concern, but something I was thinking about touching upon when we had TQ versus the Knights, and I saw Harbor picked by the Knights, and I just thought forward, knowing that that Rise and Knights, they knew they were going to match up against each other. Rise isn't a strong escalation team. It's arguably their worst game type, but they are very strong on Harbor Escalation. And I think the Knights were maybe thinking ahead, saying, if we could do well against TQ, maybe get some reps in, then when we do play against Rise, beat them on that escalation for whatever reason. There they go again. They won it against TQ, and now they picked it again here, so maybe that will help them a little bit. But that's map 3. We have to go through the first 2 maps first. And this is definitely a star-studded matchup. I'm hoping for the best out of both of these two teams.
Been casting with Ryan for quite some time. And one of the things that he ingrained in my mind is there's certain teams that play against each other. And it doesn't matter what their records are before, of how they've looked before. When they play against each other, in this case, Rise versus Pittsburgh Knights, throw all that to the wayside because they bring a different level of energy because it's personal for them, right? At least when it comes to certain rosters and certain teams. So Pittsburgh Knights, despite their struggles, you better believe they're going to be bringing their A game. But is that the team I'm going to be predicting to win this series? Well, that's a good question. Pittsburgh Knights is a team that, I would love to back up, at least for my prediction. I would love to say that I think they're going to take this win, but I don't think I can back them up in this case because Rise has been too flawless today. They're on a tear. They're looking incredible. They're absolutely top three, like Rib said, Pioneers, Noble, and Rise. So I've got to go with Rise here until they prove me otherwise. Ribs, who are you going for?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Rise as well. I love the Rise guys to death. They still have so much to prove even after an almost flawless first split of Pro League, and they need to continue on this streak. They're 6-0 in maps. I would love to see them go 9-0 on the first day and maybe get their first. I see Rushiez. It's been a long time since they've been in the grand final. I'd love to see them have a great performance this weekend. This is where it starts.
All right, Ryan, what about you?
I'm also going to go with Rise. At the end of the day, they are number one seed coming into this tournament. They looked very, very strong in Pro League. And one of my biggest surprises in Pro League was the Knights sitting at 8th. So it's kind of hard to take the 8th place over the first place. Rise has been looking very, very strong for quite some time. They've had this roster for a long time as well. So I am going to go with Rise. I think they're just looking too strong right now.
Well, for better or worse, we've been on the same page literally all day today with all five of our
pool
picks.
Play works. Pool play's got a lot of those.
It's true. Well, tomorrow I'm sure is going to be a bit different, especially with Fallout coming onto the Dez. So you guys can, argue and have your way there. Fallout, he likes to go against the grain. It's weird, but hey, it's going to be fun to have him. Check it out. We love our Blue microphones. Blue is a fantastic partner. If you like the way that it's sounding, go check them out. We all use the Blue mics, and I got to tell you, they are pure quality. Colin had a chance to speak with Joel from Blue Microphones and get his opinion and a breakdown on what he thinks about esports and Gears as a whole, but also give us more insight into Blue Microphones. Let's send it and see what Joel has to say.
What's up, Gears fam? It's Colin the Crow Clark, and I'm being joined today by a very special guest. It's going to be Joel from Blue Microphones, and he's got a beautiful face, and he's about to tell us a little bit more about what he does with Blue.
Hey, yeah, so everybody, I am Joel. I'm on the creator engagement team supporting Blue Microphones. I've been with Blue for a long time, for 5 years now, so I love Blue. I love esports. I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're happy to be here, and we are happy to have Blue be a official partner of Gears Esports this season. They are our brand new partner. Tell me, what exactly has it been like for you guys dipping your toes in not just the water, but the blood and guts that is Gears Esports?
Yeah, so, we've seen our friends at Astro, being the official audio partner, enjoy their involvement in Gears for a long time. And gaming has been a big part of Blue's DNA for a long time, too. So when we had the opportunity to sort of join in, we jumped at it. I'm personally new to the Gears community, but I will say it's been very fun to watch so far. It's, it's fast, it's crazy, it's energetic. The fans are passionate. So it's really fun. And I think we're all really happy to be the official microphone now of Blue Esports.
Well, I got to give y'all,
sorry.
You're good. I got to give y'all some great props, though, because when we first got the microphones, I always tell everybody that'll listen and have two ears that I'm not the most technologically literate person on the planet, but it was easy as pie for me to set this bad boy up, and to make it sound good was just as easy. It was basically plug it in and turn that bad boy on. Is that something that Blue prides itself on, as being so user-friendly?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been exciting to see all the casters using different Blue mics. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but it's great to be able to offer different mics, to be able to provide everyone with the best mic for their voice and their setup. And so we're lucky to have that much to offer. You've been loving it. I know the other casters have been loving it, but I hope the fans can appreciate it too, because it makes for a better production.
It definitely does make for a better production. And this weekend, all of you at home are actually going to get a chance to get in on some of that sweet action, because for the first time ever, we're going to have some of these Blue products as part of our giveaways all weekend long. You want to shout out just what they might have a chance at winning?
Absolutely. So we are giving away one Blue Yeti X microphone every day of the major. It's our top of the line USB mic. It works great out of the box, super easy to use. But if you download our Blue Voice software, you can take it to a whole nother level. It has a full suite of filters and effects and options, so you can tailor, customize your sound. And it has some fun features in there too, like different audio samples you can play and voice changers. So not only is it a great mic, but it's a fun mic to use too. So anyone who gets it, you'll love it.
I don't have any doubts that they're going to love it and cherish it. And I give you all the luck in the world, because if you get one of those things, I'm going to be a bit jealous. I love my baby bottle, but I'll take any blue mic any day of the week over anybody else. And my final question before I let you go, what are you more excited for? All this intense action that these players are about to get into? Or maybe, getting to hear these beautiful caster voices raise their voice all weekend long?
Yeah, I mean, can I say I'm excited about both equally? I think, in any esport, but especially Gears, the gameplay and the casting together are what makes it so great. You can't have one without the other. And, it's definitely more fun when everybody is enjoying themselves and everybody is performing at their highest. So I guess both. I won't pick a favorite because I love them both.
You might not pick a favorite, but I definitely have it. It's this bad boy right here. You said you can't have one without the other. Well, this season, you can't have Gears Esports without Blue. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the action all weekend long. I'm Colin. That was Joel. He was beautiful to have with me for a few moments, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, shout out to Colin and Joel there from Blue Mics. And you heard Joel say it. We're giving away Blue microphones this weekend. Shady said it earlier, okay? So don't say we didn't let you guys know in chat. Make sure you stay awesome, stay active, all right? I'm Blaze, joined with the fantastic PR, and we are about to hop in with Rise versus the Pittsburgh Knights for yet again, Jacob. I feel like we've watched these two teams play a bunch as of late. But, when it comes down towards the victor, one has been coming out more than the other.
Yeah, Rise has definitely come out a lot of these matchups swinging. They come out with a game plan, and that's just to strike hot and to strike fast. You get yourself an early lead. You make your opponent doubt themselves. That just makes it easier path towards the ending portions of this game. And I honestly, myself, at its current state, at this moment in time, have my doubts from what I've seen from the Pittsburgh Knights. I casted that matchup against Team Queso, and there were so many mistakes, so many flaws. I'm just hoping throughout this course of time, the Knights have fixed those issues.
Yeah, we'll see if they can, because the Knights, they gotta get it together, okay? Regardless of the loss in which they took earlier to Team Queso, one in which I gotta say, guys, we weren't really predicting, right? But we knew Team Queso had what it takes. If they want to negate that, they need to beat Rise right now. For us to forget all about that and for them to really have the fans back on their sides, they need to give a team a loss that who haven't even lost a map today, who barely even lost during the Pro League. So it's going to be tough for them.
Yep, it definitely is going to be tough. I'm going to be looking at certain players, though, really on the Pittsburgh Knights. Two of those players are going to be the duo slayers of Monkyz and Ravers. They have to get things going, because I believe in Gears of War 5 right now in its current meta, if you're not getting aggressive, you're not finding those eliminations, you're likely losing the matchup. So it's really going to put a lot of pressure onto those two players. And I think particularly Raver, he's already been playing well in that matchup against Monkyz, so he has to continuously replicate that and stay as consistent as possible.
And so that's the thing is, too, as well, like, with the roster change that came through for the Knights and picking up Chaoz, they were hoping that those players really didn't have to, turn up as much as they did. But, PK, they have to be able to find that slaying power somewhere. They got to be able to put out the damage. As our analyst said, it could be any given Sunday with these two teams and what they're all about. But this Rise team has been playing with a different swagger, and they feel a certain type of way about the Knights. They beat them before. They know they can do it again. And PK, they don't got a lot of people behind them right now. So if you are behind PK, let me know in the chat where my PK fans at, as well as the Rise fans at. Rise up, okay? As we're in this first matchup, it's 0-1, folks, all right? That's how tight it is. No one wants to make a move. It's the fall major.
And somehow it's Rise who actually get that first pick, and they start this chaos, even though the only utility on the map was in the hands of Raver, and you can already see 3 players down and out. A 4th was already dead, and that was Chaoz. He's going to spawn up, get those frag grenades, because of how long that took, though, Blaze. Everybody in the game is now looking up what's next. It's not so much about that hill that has 30 seconds left on it. It's about rotating towards this portion of the map in which you already see the Pittsburgh Knights lined up, and this is where Raver has to pick and choose the moment he goes, because he could play flex, he could be a distraction, he could thwart any offense that Rise looks to build up.
Now, Rise, as they're trying to spread out on the outskirts, they know they got about 10 seconds of scrap time on this hill to work with to move into the next, and still a little bit of time when the next hill starts. They don't have to rush this team fight. They just want to gather intel. Right now, they're playing execution, putting themselves in position for this team fight, a 4v3 situation as Rise starts to move in. A big 2v1, nice back A from Rushiez. DeToX finds a kill, and the last player is cleaned out. Just like that. That's seamless. Rise, they come through and they just pick apart the Knights, and now they're getting set up for next. And we'll see how long it takes for the Knights to put themselves in a position to be able to contest this hill. But with torque bows like that, that's staggering off the deaths, it's going to be a while.
Yep, and you already see 25 seconds off of that clock. If he go ahead and thwarts this far away from the hill, I think this hill is going to be over with for the Pittsburgh Knights. To start looking at next, one down's going to come through. Great shot by Monkyz, solidified that elimination, but it's only going to be a trade. In fact, the Pittsburgh Knights are looking to get this on their hands. In fact, Avexys gets the trade back-to-back, though, from Raver. He gets 30 seconds left on this hill. They have to make short work of DeToX, and they have to do it quick, and that's going to be a big elimination here. Rise, you can already see it. Rushiez was going forward. He backtracks, tries to go for next on the hill, and this is where Chaoz has to be very careful of his decisions. If he goes forward without his team, he could get eliminated, but it does look like Pittsburgh Knights are going to try for this torque bow and then try for the hill afterwards.
Yeah, and I think that's what they need to do. That was the first team fight in which the Knights have won all map long, and now they're going to have to win another one to get themselves right back into this game. They'll have the bow, they'll have control over P3 and be in a great spot. With the flash out, it doesn't connect, but the Knights, they got to dodge these nades because Rise, with a great defense, they won't be able to connect, but Monkyz takes down Rushiez, and it's going to be a 4v3 at the hill for the Knights, but they need to react quickly to pick up on the rest of these kills. But Rise defense is looking good, but in the end, it will be the Knights to win that team fight.
Knights did a good job of being able to kind of break through that defense. Well-placed flashes and great way to kind of bait and switch with that damage. Continuing to stagger out these players' Rise is important. DeToX falls. Rushiez was with him, and he had no way to exit out of the fight, so he's going to get staggered out as well. So this is a good chance for Pittsburgh Knights to start accumulating some points. They're no way going to be able to tie this game up or take the lead, but something is better than nothing. But Rise take not too much time before they return towards this hill. They're going to start contesting it, finding that elimination, but they get shut down by Monkyz. Big double kill, and if they can find this one onto Avexys, they will have started to heat up here.
Yeah, great defense from the Knights right there, because Rise, they wasted no time getting back to that hill, but they gave it everything in which they had. The Knights, they won that battle, and when it comes down towards the scoreline, just a 15-point differential as you see Rise rotating towards next. Now, they will have a player already set up. It's going to be bottom mid, player 4 already at the hill. Now, as Rise tries to go out wide, they also want to block these spawns out for the Knights, because in this area will be the next hill. They want the Knights spawning over on the other side of the map at old. And so far, they're pretty much successful at doing so as they've guarded the hill, nades up in 10, but that bow's coming up in 5, and you got 2 members of Rise in the area. It's going to be DeToX and Rushiez. As DeToX disengages, he's going to say, you know what? We'll let them have it. No point in losing our lives right now. Let's collect on time and make it difficult for them to break this setup.
Yep, now they also have power weapons in the hands of 2 different players. Torque bow in the hands of Monkyz. And I do believe frag grenades might be in the hands of DeToX, maybe even Icy here, as Rushiez gets taken down. And this is where you have to make that decision. Do you go ahead and use those frag grenades to defend, or do you back off of this hill and use them to retake, as it actually is going to be the first? He's trying to defend, buy his team as much time as possible. Great flash grenade to get him out of that position and keep him moving. And an even better torque bow coming out from Monkyz to give them a big man advantage, and Raver goes and gets number 2. Dezo is not going to fall, so everybody's staying healthy as possible on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, and they keep the eliminations coming. They find DeToX by himself. The rest of the 3 remaining members of Rise are trying to do something, and it starts with Icy finding that elimination onto Dezo, but the trades will continue. There's so much action, neither team is able to build that momentum in a convincing fashion.
Chaoz did a good job winning his 1v1 on the back end of the map, but then as he was rotating out to get the spawns for his squad, he was able to keep it for them, so that's the great part there. But now, Rise, they're going to be able to get that pinch from the top end of the map, because that's where he really needed to anchor there after his squad kind of died there towards the center line. But in the end, it is still a 4v4 fight as PK getting back down by Rise. The 2v2 fight at the hill still underway. At this moment, Jacob, PK, they're doing a good job holding off. They did lose a player, but the flames coming in towards the top portion of the map. Rise is able to pick up 2 in the hill, and that should be able to win them this fight as they clean up Monkyz. They're going to force the Knights to be able to spawn that Torque Bow as Rise is set up.
And there's only been one bad hill so far for Rise, and that has been hill number 3, where they're only able to score 8 points. They have no less than 36 off each and every one of these hills, so you can expect at least 35 points out of Rise onto this hill, built on over that. So they're almost going to have a full point total, or full hill total of points if PK does not successfully break through this. They got 3 players going ahead. DeToX is going to go down. Rushiez gets shut down. 3 players dusted as Icy falls. Avexys in no man's land, but he can get that spawn to try again, and it is going to come soon. 30 seconds left. Rise have to make the decision. Is this something worth contesting over?
Yeah, they're already here. You know, these deaths aren't the worst in the world from those 2 players. The 2 in the back line, they rotate out. I was going to say they get them the spawns, and they actually get some great spawns here. They get split up into a 2-2, but this kill coming through, as long as Icy stays alive, he got a little bit greedy there going for that second kill. His squad would have been in a great defensive spot, but with the Knights seeing an opening, they're going to try to flood through the bottom portion of the map with a bow in hand. 2 shots left. He connects on DeToX, resets. The nades come through with Avexys finding 1. It's going to be a 2v2 battle for the hill, and the Knights will win it.
It's a must-win battle for the Knights, because you got to imagine Rise, it's not going to take too long before they at least contest this hill. Rise will accumulate maybe 20, 30 points, get to around the 140, 150 mark before I think Icy and the rest of Rise will be able to break through, and that's if they want to contest this hill. And there's so much time, I do think they should. They have 2 players that could lead that charge, and DeToX and Icy, the third following up in Rushiez. Avexys going to be late to rotate to try to call out any flankers, and First Blood comes in. Dezo is going to fall, and I like you say they're playing a game of execution here, but they're losing that advantage. Icy and DeToX go and get taken out. It's all up to Rushiez and Avexys. They're able to get 1. They were get 2. Avexys is going to go down. DeToX is going to fall. The reinforcements are there just in time for Rise to successfully hold on to this hill, but for how long?
It looks like they will be able to have it for a while if they can get this down on Dezo, but he's found a way to stay alive. Brought time for his teammate to rotate out wide right. He's going to stay alive. Icy couldn't catch him off guard. And the Knights, they immediately come back. They get control of this hill. But that's 30 seconds left. You got to go back for that, because you tie the game, you get it. And the Knights will realize that. So as they're starting to collect here, we are about to rotate our hills and go back to P1. As you see, Rise rotating up top. All 4 players will be in the area. They're going to have to deal with these 3 bows from Chaoz. Tried to put 1 on the ground. No splash damage. 2 left. That's not going to be inactive. He's going to have 1 of his shotgun out for this fight, but he keeps the bow there. Connects on the body. That's going to be him taking 1 to the grave. Yeah.
That's a big trade, because if Rushiez gets taken down there, you got to think they're swarming 4v3. They're not letting these players survive, but a big flank coming through from Ravers. He has his support fire down. He gets only 1, but he's quickly revived back up. All members of Rise, healthy as can be right now. They spot Monkyz towards the back line. He goes down. Icy makes a play. Big melee to shut down another player. Rise are going to cement this hill with a bunch of time. 65 seconds left for grabs. So Pittsburgh Knights, they cannot let this get out of hand. They've done a good job of keeping this one close, and they need to continue to keep this close.
They've done a real good job at that one, because the way this one kicked off, it looked like they was going to be in a hole for a while, but off these last few hill rotations, they've managed to get ahead. Great plays by them so far, but they got to keep it up, as Rise has already broken past that 200-point marker. The next team fight about to break out. Great nades from DeToX. Raver gets crossed out there by 3 players, and Rise is on a hunt for the remaining 2. Icy does not know where Monkyz is. He gets the free shot. 2 free shots. That's a down. Icy gets taken out, and Monkyz is going to rotate back and try to keep this spawn for his team. On the flip end, Avexys takes down Dezo, and he will be able to get the pinch on Monkyz, trying to get back to DeToX, because they know the priority, get King Kong out of here, back with the rest of his team, but he stays alive. Puts himself in a position to get help from his teammates, but it wasn't enough as the Knights lose 2 members. Rise will be set up for next.
You can see Rise chose to kind of bleed this hill absolutely dry. It makes me think maybe the torque bow is coming up, so they want to stay there to kind of solidify that as well, and they do. Avexys solidifies the torque bow, and now I want to say they want to try to hunt down Dezo, but they already have control of the hill. All they need to do is backtrack and set up here. It's now into that position, Blaze, that situation for Rise, and the game being winnable.
Now Rise with 3 bows in the hands of Avexys. He misses the third, but fortified. Their backs against the wall. They know exactly where the Knights are pushing from. At this point, this is just a round of execution here. Almost looks like a round of Tomb if you want to just squint your eyes just a little bit. As Icy gets taken down, he'll get finished up. The Knights with a man advantage, but Monkyz, he's out of there. DeToX is out as well. 3v2 in favor, I believe, of the Knights in this situation. And actually, I could be wrong. Looking at the skulls on the map, it's actually Rise who comes out on top as Chaoz is cleaned up. Rise can win off of this hill. Here comes a desperate rush from the Knights up the bottom portion of the map. We'll see if they can get through.
They have to start this push down a man. Otherwise, they're going to let this get so close. One frag grenade at the door to really cloud it. It gets tossed with a flash grenade. Great job by Rise to cloud it. And it goes in. Avexys only gets it down. All the eliminations are going in way of Rise. There's only one player left, and he gets shut down. And that's going to be game, set, and match for map number 1. Rise takes it over PK.
Congratulations to Rise for coming away with map number 1. And it was a hard-fought map. Avexys, the MVP. And hey, you talked about it earlier. This man right here, he's gonna run to try to get that Astro Gaming MVP of the weekend the way that he's been playing as of late. We'll see if he can keep up that production, but I know he can. Rise come out on top here with Ritual. Now we got to move on over towards the execution. But Jacob, as we break this one down, you know, the Knights, they were able to fight their way back into it, but those last few hills, they really couldn't, contest a Rise. And I'm pretty much, as I was looking at it, it came down to as the game was slowing down and we got into those execution style fights, Rise was just outplaying them. They just had better teamwork in those engagements. And we saw for multiple hills on that map, it slowed down to that pace as they break out into those engagements. Whenever Rise was able to get the game down to that pace, I feel like that's where they thrived.
Yeah, and I think Rise did a good job of staying consistent, whether if it was those chaotic moments in the beginning of the game that was going either way when the Pittsburgh Knights had a chance, to when it is those slow moments that you are talking about. They realize how to adapt, how to change up each and every scenario. And to be honest, I think the Pittsburgh Knights started to run out of gas. They started to get desperate in some cases. And I don't know if that's like a mental thing going up against this Rise squad or just the story of their season and their inconsistencies. But coming out into execution map number 2, they're going to have to do a better job of dissecting their opponent, because right here, it even sees when they have the advantage, they're letting it slip through due to big plays.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And, I talked about, one of those engagements looking like it was Tomb, and I do believe that is the second map in which we're about to go to soon. So with that being said, as we get into these fights, the Knights, they're going to have that teamwork to be able to work together and isolate some of these Rise members. Because I feel like if they let Rise initiate on them and make that first move, more times than not, Rise is going to come out on top when the fight ends up going their way. Either the Knights have to play some spectacular defense there and really have a strong base strategy to be able to adjust to anything Rise throws at them, or they just got to hit them first, right? And set the pace going into Tomb. And we'll see which one, which playstyle they choose to go for.
Yeah, and I said it before this matchup that Raver is going to have his hands full, and I'm going to say it again, especially on this map Tomb and the position that he plays up top towards that sniper. He is going to have to make plays. He's going to have to survive when his back is up against the wall, because that side of the map becomes that main focus. And we've seen him save some rounds before early on in the tournament against Team Queso by getting into that cubby and start to dish out that Lancer fire when the strats did get switched up. He was the guy to throw that shock grenade and try to go towards the top side of the map. So overall, I don't think it's over just yet for the Pittsburgh Knights, but I think their opportunities to come back, not only in this series, but in this major, are going out the window.
Yeah, it slowly is, but I will say this, Jacob, okay? And I don't know if it was this split or the last, but, I think it holds true for both. If the Knights want to be a championship squad, right? If they want to walk away this weekend with the trophy, they have to be great at execution. and Escalation. That's it. The round-based game modes, they have to be dominant in, okay? They're going to be 50-50 on most of these controls, all right? You know, they got to get off to a great start, get off to the lead, but for the most part, we've seen them get outclassed there. So when it comes down to execution, I do think this is their better game mode, but they're going to have to outthink their opponent or just really just make the first move. And they got players that can do that. You know, when we go to these close quarter maps, Raver, he's always good for one. You know, every other round, he's good for a first blood, and you know how to play off of that. Same thing with Dezo. So you know that you can rely on those guys to make those big individual plays to set up the team plays to come out for victory. Now, that's asking a lot for them, but we just need to really see them do it on the entire team needs to do this consistently. And it just really comes out to damage output on a simple note, right? We don't need to overthink it when it comes down to strategy, because we know that if you're losing in gears, all right, you got to do two things, okay? I don't care the game mode you playing in. I don't care the map, all right? Number one, man on man, find a guy, put a mark on him, get a lancer over his head. And number two, output more damage. That's it. Output more damage, shoot first, and then move off of that.
Yeah, no, I like that idea, especially your theory behind the round-based game modes and the Pittsburgh Knights having to excel. But you can clearly see there's a mismatch. I'm not going to say overall in every single matchup, but the one that is in front of us, the important one that they're playing right now, that the Rise, when they get that advantage, they figure out how to hold that advantage, staggering out their opponents in these control game types. They know exactly how to influence the spawns. They know exactly when and where to stagger out the deaths and keep that advantage. On the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, I don't know what their issue is, but they just haven't been able to kind of piece that together all season long on a consistent basis. So when it comes to execution, yes, they will have that better shot because they're going to be able to dust that shoulder off, dust the shoulder off and be able to pick themselves back into it. Even if they're down 2-0, 3-0, they have chance after chance, especially Tomb, when you have a big playmaker like Raver. The same thing on Escalation. You figure out a way to turn that into mini execution. Every one of those scenarios, you obviously have your initial. If you get wiped off that, you get pushed back towards spawn, you have your home hill, you got to just figure out how to get that first pick in the execution styled scenario so that way you can break past the initial. So this is going to be very, very important for these players to stay composed and have as much energy for the long run as possible, because even if they do win these two round-based game modes, they're going to go back over to control where the advantage goes back over to Rise. We could have a theory of a game number 5.
Yeah, and you know, when we talked a little bit about the Knights better game modes, right? And then when we go back to Rise, I remember it was like we were, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into our pro league as they were about to play Noble. And, for me, these stats still hold true for them, that Rise had not lost an execution map, okay, and in a very long time. That this season was their best game mode. And what was crazy, because last season it was control, okay? And then they kind of built off it towards the offseason. They built off nothing in the offseason. They got back to their roots, right? They got back to execution. They just started playing that well, but it all came together for them, all right? And so now they are just looking like the most well-rounded. They are the most well-rounded team that we have in our league, okay? It's the reason why they came out in first place with it. Now, as far as them coming away with a chip, now, we know why they don't got one, okay? We know why they didn't win the E-Day playoffs. We know why they didn't win the last major, all right? It's just these stallions that they just can't catch up to. They just keep running all over them, that they're just trying to just catch up to in this event. And so far, I think that this is the best Rise team to do it. And for them to be able to build off what they built off last season, I think that's great for them, right? Because anyone... If you guys have never played on a main stage or, never been in a competitive environment, losing the way that they did sucks. All right. Like, you'll rather get, rather get 3-0 than lose like that, to be that close, time and time again. But they show resilience. Okay. They show that, hey, we're going to get it done, and they continue to get better. So, that's me giving Rise their kudos there, because, they look good. All right.
They do. And they're one of those teams, man. Their base, their foundational gameplay is solid. They didn't get here any other way because we talk about the lack of practice or refusal to practice, whatever it may be. They're doing a good job with their foundational base gameplay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. When championships are crowned, it's because these players and these teams really dig deep and they put everything on the table. So for Rise not to lose a map up into this point just shows to me they haven't been tested just yet. They haven't been forced to dig deep. So that's one thing I'm going to go ahead and write down in my notes and keep an eye on throughout the course of this tournament.
All right, folks, we're heading into map number 2. It's the Knights versus Rise. As Rise is up 1-0 in this series, Dezo will get first blood with the Knights looking to take control and get this one all tied up. As Avexys finds it down on Raver, Dezo will be able to take him out, but with kills being traded out left and right, it will be Rushiez by himself. And now taken out with the Knights going up on the board first.
Yeah, very great orchestrated plan. Great flashes from Raver, and then Dezo really just slipping through to get that first blood. From there, Rise went into panic mode. They struggled to find the elimination, and then Rushiez was kind of left on his own island there, so they have to be able to watch out for those audibles, for those trick stats I think Pittsburgh Knights have been working on since their first match.
All right, here we go. Round number 2. Kicking this one off here with Icy, getting some good shots there on Dezo, and we see Avexys not going to be able to connect with his stun, but you see how he quickly switches targets to Chaoz. He says, you know what, that don't work out. Let's go do this over here. Man advantage. The rest of his team is able to play defense because they know the other Knights members, they're desperate for kills because they have to be. In execution, and especially on a map like this, it happens so fast that if you lose a teammate, you have to be a big boy and say, okay, where can I find a kill? Rise, they know when players get desperate like that. So that's when they toughen up their defense and play a little bit more passive, which is the best strategy.
Yeah, it makes me imagine, too, maybe they got beat towards the top side. They had no choice kind of but to find that elimination elsewhere as they try to back roll out of that situation. But the show goes on. You see in your minimap an audible to come through. Rushiez going towards the top side. Looks like he's going to be met with Raver, but Dezo goes down in the middle of the map first. Monkyz trying to be a hero, but just seconds short. Literal seconds short from getting that revive. Now Raver's feeling that pressure to go up top, and Rushiez shuts him down. All the same, they're only going to lose Icy, so after the dust settles, Blaze, they'll still be up one-man advantage.
But now, can Monkyz do something about it? He was trying to work the right, but it was DeToX who committed to his right hand, and now it's going to be Chaoz left alive as Rise. Looking to get another round on the board. And, you know, when I double back to that fight that Rushiez ran one up top, that was huge for him because he know that player had to play him. You know, he came out on the board with that one and put his team in a good spot, but Rise ultimately will come out with this round. That's 2 in a row for them. Where do you think the Knights have to play going into this next round, Jacob? Should they be putting more of their focus on DeToX, or should they just kind of play back a little bit more neutral or shift down low towards the bow?
I want to see them try to get that early down, bait it out with Raver, trying to take that control so that way the focus is on him, and trying to angle out that player on towards the tree. And I love this point of view right now from Dezo because he should be that player to make the play. The information gathering right now, when they cannot go ahead and try to make the play, this is where they have to grab that sniper because now Torquebo's in the hands of Rise.
But the shock is on the snipe. And you see, oh my God, he got him from downtown. Rise. They designed the opening play perfectly to get Rushiez the double. And now it'll be in a 4v2 situation. They brought him enough time utilizing that shot grenade for the power weapon to get picked up. And now they're just 2 kills away from going up 3-1. But Raver said it ain't that easy.
You need a headshot. This is a player that you can kind of count on to get the job done, but they're slowly but surely pressuring him. Flash grenade to make him bounce back, but Raver makes the play. He steps up big, and he misses the shot. That could have been detrimental there. So for Rise, they don't even know it, but they escaped with the hair on their chinny chin.
Yo, look at the composure, though. They didn't move an inch. They knew what was up. But now they got to break out left and right, committed with a Lancer fire coming out here from Rise. One player gets out. The body shot is there. The defensive plays from Raver, knowing his teammate can win the battle. In the end, a 2v4 victory for the Knights to get this one all tied up 2-2. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Raver. It all starts with him, but that's how you answer back big torque bow plays from Rushiez, big sniper plays and shotgun plays from Raver to kind of tear it down, and that's something that could deflate Rise. We know how their lows get, and you have to prevent yourself from going that far down.
We called him out. We said it had to be Dezo and Raver. We know that they can make plays in this game mode, right? When it comes down to execution and escalation, but whew, they showed up for their squad there in round number 4 with a quick nade pickup. Dezo thought it was a free route, but Rise, they may put some pressure on him. They want to be careful. He has to use a disengage nade, but he's not going to give up his position for free. Dezo said, I worked hard to get on this side of the map, but with another disengage nade, he uses them both, and now he's in a difficult spot because Jacob, he can't run away. Rise knows it. They also got to kill down low. He has to win this 1v2. Missing his first 2 shots, but that L trigger is great. Oh, couldn't come in and get the next.
I would almost love to see him try to run out of there and reunite with his teammates, but Monkyz was in the danger zone as well. He goes down, cleaned up by Icy. Chaoz trying to make a play. Man, if he would have got that revive buff, it could have been deja vu all over again with the other half of the team, but Icy knows how this is going to go. He knows to not give him any inches so he cannot take a mile. Waits for DeToX to go ahead and team up with him. Avexys going to keep his distance with Sniper. Great flash grenade to force Chaoz out, and eventual elimination will come in. Rise continue to stay one step ahead.
Yeah, one step ahead for them. You know, after letting that previous round slip away, they knew they had to stay a little bit tighter in this round. Because, you know, they just can't let that happen at this level of gameplay. So they stay focused. And that's one thing that Rise worked on, especially towards the offseason. I think is their composure, right? I feel like this squad doesn't, you know, quote unquote, tilt like the other team used to, okay? Yep. You know, they have a little bit less to lose, and they just want to have fun and be the best in which they can be. Now, as you're going to start to see 4v4 on the map, Dezo with a quick bow pickup. No splash damage off that arrow, but he's going to reposition, almost crossed out. DeToX with the snipe for his squad, but they got to watch out for you. Yeah, you saw the bow there towards the left. No kills coming through just yet. A body shot connected from DeToX, but the bow just missed. It hit the wall. So but Rise to reset. DeToX dodges another, connects with the body. It is great play coming out from the power weapon players, but now this one is going to start to slow down a little bit, Jacob. But as I say that, this is a 2v2 fight right in front. The flash won't connect. The Chaoz stops pursuit, gives Raver a 1v1. Dezo wins his fight, and now the Knights look to get this one all tied up 3-3.
I see backing down a couple players. He knows he has help on his left side. Rushiez is planning something with the flash grenade. Flashing the other guys, trying to go ahead and capitalize onto that damage onto Raver. Icy pushing up. He gets 1! Icy gets 2! He gets shut down by Raver! 1v1 situation, and Rushiez, they clutch it! They answer back a 2v4 with a 2v3 of their own!
Man, Rise says, hey, anything you can do, we can do just a little bit better, all right? A little bit better. Wasn't no 2v4, but it was a clutch, baby, all right? Look at that with the quick turnaround, Michelle. He stands Rush, get him, say less.
Oh my God,
look at the damage on Rush. Look at the damage on him. He's a demon today.
Don't look at that too long. That's bad news bears for some people.
Ooh, as he's out here at the torque bow, he's gonna get a quick down. He says, Monkyz, don't come over here. I'm ready for you. Respect me, as he gets first blood. And the bow's on the ground as Rush is looking to get his team to map point. Gonna put one on the cover, no splash damage. None off of that one either, but Rise, knowing that they can slow this one down if they need to. Monkyz finds a kill in middle.
Icy and Rushiez take too long to make a move or back up, and they lose DeToX as well, but Rushiez keeps these going, connects with a torque bow onto Chaoz, so could have been worse. Still a 2v2 though. Sniper not picked up just yet, but I spoke too soon.
But no bows left for Rushiez, so now all advantage in favor of the Knights. If they can get these nades up top, they'll put themselves in a great spot as well. And as we can see that the nades are available, not on a respawn timer, so that means that their position is there. But with plenty of time on the clock, the Knights just gonna have to rotate back and get them if they want. I don't know what they're waiting for, unless they want to give up some more bows to Rushiez, because that's what he's waiting for. He has time to get them because he got the bow, that quick pick right at the start of the round.
Just trying to see right now where everybody's kind of positioned. You got a whole line being set up with Rise kind of staying close together. Pittsburgh Knights splitting up. And they have utility in the hands of Monkyz, but he's just going to go ahead and plant that one, try to go towards up top, and I think maybe grab the frag grenades. Yes, so at least it's going to go ahead and spot out a couple of players and give some audio cues of where they're at least maneuvering around the wrap from. And Rushiez really going to give up his position with the grabbing of the shock grenade. This is basically a shock and a shock versus frags and sniper, realistically.
All right, here we go. 3 seconds to the neutral hill comes. The shot grenade is going to block off Raver, but he got the long shot in hand. He's ready to fight at any distance. Misses the body, dodges the shot, hits on Icy. Quick 180. Don't matter. The nade was able to pick up the kill. And now you're going to see 3 to 4. The Knights get themselves another round.
What I like seeing out of this Rise squad, though, even though it wasn't necessarily successful that round, is they're switching things up. They're mixing in the old meta, the torque post strategies mixed with the shot grenade with the new aggression towards the top side of the map. They're consistently trying to keep their opponent guessing, even if it's not successful. They're not going ahead and strain you. They're not getting tired. They're not stressing themselves out by hitting that brick wall. They're just trying to find the easier path each way. Monkyz tries to find a flank onto Avexys, but spots him from a mile away. The rest of Rise sees this as a go. He has the backup needed, but he's going to go down. Rushiez makes the play to find first blood, but Icy falls towards the back line. It's still going to even up at 3v3, though.
Now, Raver, he's trying to isolate DeToX, but Avexys got some long-range shots in to help him. Wow. And now they're able to work together on Dezo as Monkyz looks for a 1v1. Rushiez backpedals with that Lancer like it's Gears of War 3. He ain't letting him get close to him as Rise goes to map point. Just one away. And Jacob, man, their execution has been looking really, really good.
No, definitely have been a solid squad. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Last season was kind of controlled. They were dominant. They were everywhere on the map, suffocating their opponents. This time, they really kind of solidified those round-based game modes. But I will say, through and through, I think Escalation is still the weaker of the three. So it's not over just yet if the Pittsburgh Knights find a way to let this one crumble before their very eyes. We see a fight go down in towards the mid lane. Dezo just trying to aid his teammates. First blood to Chaoz. Let's see how Rise react.
Now, with a man advantage, the Knights, they're able to find 2 more kills and take out DeToX as well. They'll get another round on the board off that first blood that Chaoz was able to get. And, you know, when he's able to put out that damage early on and really set his teammates up for success, you know, Raver, Dezo, Monkyz, they can make plays off of that, okay? They can make plays off that initial damage, trade him out if they need to. But, you know, whenever he's the initiator, the Knights, they look good. So we'll see what happens going into this next round. And I do want to kind of stay on board with Chaoz and follow this one through, as he is going to be going down low, playing up here towards Rushiez. We see the play here towards the mid-map. Icy and Rushiez is kind of focusing on him now on the top side. Dezo will be able to have his help. The cross is there. Chaoz moves in to really take out Rush in his position, but he puts himself in to get back aid. Stays alive just barely as he hits the corner, gets chased down. Icy's taken out right there. Raver finds a kill on DeToX, but those two, the Knights still have the advantage. The distraction came through very, very well, and now the Knights 1 kill away from going into the round 11.
We need this elimination. They're already down 1-0, and they finally cleaned that one up onto Rushiez. So they did a good job of realizing they were outmatched down low towards the torque bow, and they saw that as a green light. You have to notice something like that as fast as possible, because if Rushiez is able to escape, if he's able to get out and continue to kind of do work, if Chaoz on the other side is not able to get that down to come through, anything could have happened for either one of these teams. So you have to take your advantage as fast as you possibly can.
But, you know, you saw Chaoz. He created some chaos down low, right? Moving around, chasing down Rush. He got the attention of 2 players that created openings for the Knights there towards mid-map. Dezo with nades in hand. The bow is going to be in favor of Rise, but the sniper is still on the ground. It's a fight here between Icy and Monkyz for that power wave. Sorry, not Icy and Monkyz. It's going to be Dezo and DeToX on the other side of the map. Now, Icy and Monkyz here at the statue. They're going to have to get backed up there.
I see. Didn't see that one coming from downtown, but almost jumping into his demise. Torque going to be used by Rushiez. I want to see him use this one as this one's slowing down to try to get some splash damage, to try to get a pick, but Dezo now under siege, forced to use this grenade defensively yet again. And that's been the thing about Dezo. He hasn't really been able to use offensive frag grenades just yet.
He's by himself all the time, and he's too far on these stairs. You know, even with 2 nades and him getting pressed, he feels like he can get those kills, but like he's not getting them, right? And at the end of the day, those nades get wasted. He just needs a little bit of help in that situation. DeToX can't hit the snipe, but when it comes down to it, the Knights, they gotta find 2 kills as Rise has all the power weapons at this point, and it being a 4v2 on the map, they're gonna take this really slow, Jacob, okay? And this is where your opponents get demoralized in these situations because they want something fast. They want you to chase them down and run at them, but then they realize that everybody's spreading out. Oh, but in the end, one more kill coming through. That's not going to be enough. Monkyz isn't going to get the 1v1s no matter how far Rise spreads out. All they're going to do is just spread their lead out a bit more. Make it 2-0 as they beat the Knights here on Execution Tomb. So far, so good for Rise throughout the day, everybody. They have not dropped a map. And when we come back after this break, we're heading on over towards Harbor Escalation, and we'll see if Rise can stay perfect. Rushiez gonna clean up a little bit over here. We're gonna get things all tidy for you folks. Don't go anywhere. Get yourself a drink, hydrate. When we come back, we got the next map of this series. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears Fall Major as we are going to be heading into map number 3 between the Knights and Rise. And what an interesting series it has been. Jacob, this one came down to around 11, and then our first control map got close there towards the midway point, but ultimately in the end, it's been Rise with control of this series.
Yeah, whether it's an easy one or a hard one, I feel like they have controlled the matchup. And they've proven it here onto Tomb. A nice 2v3 clutch to answer back a 2v4. But the bigger thing in my book that shows that they're trying and pulling out everything, even the kitchen sink, is the fact that they're switching up these strategies. They're sending players up top. They're sending players down low for the torque bow. They're getting aggressive in the middle. They're just trying their hardest to make sure PK has no idea what's coming next.
Yeah, they're switching it up because, Rise, they're experiencing, when they feel like their opponent is playing behind in their strategy, or when they're forcing them to kind of react to everything in which they're doing. It makes them feel like they can get away with a lot, okay? So, they keep switching it up. If it works out, Rise, they stick to it, but it's forcing PK to have to just be more reactive, and that makes them feel like they're playing from behind, and it just makes everything that much better for Rise. Ultimately, in this series, it makes them feel comfortable. So, as Rise heads into Harbor Escalation, you said it earlier that you felt like Escalation was Rise's weakest game mode. And, I talked about it, when we kicked this one off, that last season Rise was good. We feel like they were the best control team. This season, Execution, you can say that, hey, they're the best execution team which we have. But then you can also probably go back 2 more seasons ago and look at how talented this team was at Escalation, okay? Every single season, they, just kind of been mastering something different. And now this could be the event where it all finally comes together.
I can tell you this right now. This can also be the map where they shut them down 3-0. I'm just saying, even though it might be their worst game mode, but when you're playing this good, it doesn't really matter because you're just going ahead and winning these initials. That's the thing. Whether it feels on control in the beginning, execution on Tomb numerous rounds, or the eventual Harbor. If they win the initial, they control the games, and it's not easy to take it away from them. And on Harbor, the way it kind of sets up, you lose that boat control, whether they go for the triple cap domination or not, you are going to be fighting an uphill battle to retake anything. And that's the thing. The Pittsburgh Knights have not convinced me that they have what it takes to topple over a team that is as hot as Rise right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. Okay, when it comes down to especially with the 3 escalation maps that we have in our cycle, I think that, there are some of Rise's better maps. We watched how Rushiez absolutely dominated Vasgar and how well they played it a few weeks back, and we know that they're good at it. They're super I think Harb is actually probably their better of all the maps, to be honest, just because it's one of the simpler ones, and I think Rise is really good between the Winch and Stern fights, okay? Avexys plays top Stern very well, and between DeToX and Rushiez, it's hard to beat, the combination of those two players in close quarter engagements like that, okay? They both play front spawns for their respective squads, and during the escalation era on this map, and when you put them together, they just play that area massively. But on the flip end, you also got to deal with Raver and Dezo, and I got to put respect on their name also, because this is one of PK's better maps. So really, this is gonna go either way, folks, okay? They're both talented, but right now, Rise has been on top and they ain't lost the map all day. So why would they lose it now? PK proved to us why.
As you see, Rush just kind of starts off first blood. Luckily for him, that didn't last long before Dezo found that second pick, but they have the 2v1 over the cover. Avexys goes down, so the trades will continue on this initial, and Rushiez gets popped over the top. He did not get that elimination, and it looks like that revive is going to come through. Full boat control going over to the Pittsburgh Knights to start this game off.
And now the Knights are able to shift in, capture the B hill, and they're going to have this nice setup spread off across the map. It looks like Rise is playing man-on-man. They can't lose a player in this position. And even with those downs coming through, Avexys was able to find an opening to get the down on Chaoz. At this point, they can revive train up out of here if they don't lose anyone else. Even though they will, they still have a band advantage. I think you beeline to A. Rise can win this round right now. But even with that being said for me, right? They got to take the 1v1. That player has to get over there. And with the respawns coming through, B-Hill's not captured. They really couldn't do it. In the end, it is going to be Rise that just hold what they have, not plan for anything else just now until they win one more team fight.
Yeah, perfect timing on that flash grenade to make sure that Dezo did get taken out. Staggered out, unable to get the elimination, but Raver drops DeToX, not allowing him to get the elimination either, as this one is going to go the distance, or possibly in this round, as the neutral is now being fought over. That is one of two hills that Rise does contain under their control, but Avexys shows up just in the nick of time. He deals out damage, but he gets shut down early, unable to get that elimination. So Rise, with 3 players in towards the middle, it looks like they have their focus set.
Now, PK knows that they still need to take down a few more players towards the B area of the map, and here's the flank. Perfectly timed from Rushiez. That's 2 more kills that come through for Rise. They'll put their attention on capturing the B hill. The stun will not come through in time to be able to save his teammate's life, and there's still a lot of fire coming in from the Winch PR. Those players from Rise can't do much, as Monkyz is just taking his time, knowing that help is there, just waiting for the damage to come through. But Dezo has to quickly turn around, win a 1v1. And with that, he can play for the domination, but he's playing with fire. Still needs to take down Icy. And is he going to be enough to melt just for a second, as Dezo gets 2?
Big shutdown by Dezo, and actually proper usage of that tactic as well to stun out both DeToX and Rushiez as they try to enter the hill. Big round for the Pittsburgh Knights, because you really, when you're down 2-0, have to set the tone and the pace. You have to come up big and make Rise second guess themselves.
Man, Dezo was in his bag that round. That's all I gotta say, okay? Like the way he anchored at Winch, supported the whole squad, turned around 180, won a 1v1, then went in and won a 1v2 for the dub, okay? Like, that's why I talk about how good PK has to be in execution and escalation. These are their game modes, okay? It's the teamwork stuff and control that's slowing them down, all right? That's where the slow rotations and the big picture stuff be kind of getting away from them, but these 2 game modes, they know what they gotta get done, and they take it on a round-by-round basis. As we're here in round number 2, Dezo looking for a chunk over the top. Up top is going to be Monkyz in his 1v1. Down low is going to be Raver versus Rushiez. And you already know it's Chaoz versus Icy, and Icy's going to get first blood.
That's going to be a big down, because now they're going to start to gain these points and put the pressure on the players towards the top side of the map. You see the full rotation coming out from both teams, even a trade in eliminations, but it looks like it's going in way of Rise. Monkyz is caught top center by himself in a 1v2. Meanwhile, his home is under siege from Icy, who is definitely going to get that break, but it's going to be up to Chaoz here. He has to get the trade and the reset to come through, but Icy's not even giving him that opportunity. Big down as a turnaround to get that elimination as they continue to threaten for the triple cap domination. Escalation. They lose 1, they lose 2, they lose 3 as DeToX falls as well. Pittsburgh Knights will survive and live to tell the tale.
Oh, and you know what? They survived, but now they're trying to thrive as they're rotating, looking for another heal. Avexys looking to stop that. He played up close just in case that player wanted to, you know, get aggressive on him, but they didn't take the bait. And the Knights worked as a unit to capture B. With that being said, look at the mini-map, folks, all right? The Knights, they're going to have 2 players up top spread out. They'll be able to disengage from this B hill, and they can win off of 2. They need 1 good team fight win, Jacob. If they can get that, I believe they can get the round. They might be even sending the player down on the flank, and that's the team fight in which they got to win. That's 2. That's 3 players out. They know where the 4th is. This is where the Knights have to end this one.
Avexys is staying back, trying to prevent that triple cap domination from coming through. But it also cost them because that player down low was trying to dish out that damage from the players moving up. So they continue to fall. They continue to struggle. And the Pittsburgh Knights, back from the depths, continue to look so good in the first 2 rounds of map number 3. But my biggest question mark, Blaze, you don't have to answer right away, but can they maintain this pressure?
Yeah, they can. I think they can. And, you know, I can say that, especially when it comes down to Harbor Escalation, all right? Dezo and Raver, they're showing me, you know, why a lot of teams don't play this map against them. I honestly think that when it comes down to it, Rise may be one of the only squads that let this map go through on a pick ban selection because they love it just as much as they do, all right? But everybody else, they know they like, why we got to deal with Raver on the Witch, okay? We can go play Vascar, we can go play Training Grounds. They don't got to play this map, but Rise, they're about that action because I don't think they want to deal with TG. Now, on the flip end, as you see, it's going to be the Knights taking it out wide here towards the stern, and they'll be able to get behind enemy lines. It was 3 members of Rise on the winch, slowed down. Monkyz even turn back and help the squad. He'll have a cross in this as well. They should be able to get maybe 1, 2 more downs as the map's getting flipped. Player 8 could choose to take the 1v1 down low if they wanted to, but why? They can just get a cross from up top. That's what the cross actually came in late. You see how Monkyz goes to look for it? Yep. If he could have got that cross a little bit sooner, Pittsburgh Knights would have been in a good position.
Luckily for them, it's just going to be a stalemate. 1 death is going to be staggered out. So that's actually pretty good for Rise. They're going to have a few seconds to where they have a much bigger advantage with Icy spawning in, trying to get on towards the field. But the Pittsburgh Knights have less to travel through as they continue the ring around the rosy, pockets full of poses to get around on that positioning. They're going to trade hills right back. Rise now has nothing, so they have to go in and use these few seconds to at least decap this hill. They have the pressure from top wench as well, so nobody from the Pittsburgh Knights will be able to advance past a certain point. So it's looking pretty good for Rise as soon as they go back to capture the hill. But when will that time come?
Go back,
They're sending Avexys now, so this is your chance for the Pittsburgh Knights to go.
And so they see the hills getting capped, so Knights is like, yo, that's 1 on the hill. That means up close in these battles on the winch and stern, they're at a disadvantage. Use our numbers. Now, player 4 being Icy was really smart pushing that player out from down low because this is where he did not want to get crossed at the B hill. That's what he had to prevent. And so he saw it coming when a 3-man rush was coming through. So he said, I'm not going to just sit here and wait for the inevitable. I'm going to be proactive and get position.
Big flash, stun, and push Icy back. Chaoz got some good damage as well to start it. Rushiez goes down. Icy's not able to get that instant revive, so he's going to be cleaned up quickly, and he meets that same exact demise. They're only able to get that down onto Raver. They're going to clean up that elimination, so a 2-for-1, and you can already see where their plans are. They want to continuously attack this neutral. They have the angle from DeToX. They have another angle from Avexys as they continue to not let these players escape, but they do. And they not only escape, but they get the capture as well, and they need it to come back into this game.
You know, I'm laughing at that last fight that Rushiez and Icy had. I just kind of, you know, I know Rushiez was just thinking like, man, he wish Icy had a little bit better movement because I feel like that's why he died there. He just couldn't move around Icy holding so much cover down low. Now, speaking of all that cover down low, it's a lot of it is occupied by the Knights. There's 4 players there looking to get the pinch here towards B. As the flame comes through, the Knights can get those 2 kills. It's going to be a quick route towards their opponent's home, and then they'll be able to send majority of players back to their side to cap up that A hill. But it's still a close game. DeToX need not die in this situation if he can help it. As he gets angled out, it's going to be the Knights who will settle for 2. Still close. Rise, they're going to have to probably take this 2v2 fight before somebody gets on wins, Jacob. And that's exactly what they're going to do. But can they win it? Well, not Rise, but the Knights can.
Yeah, that's what I meant. On the side of PK, they had everything going for them, because even though it was 2-1, it was so late in the game to where timing was double not on their side. Not only were they getting the double up the score line, but because of the lead already going over to PK, they would have needed a triple neutralization to come through, regardless of that double cap or a singular cap. So Rise just had no other choice but to go right then and there into the setup of PK, who obviously had that one planned out and ready to go. 3-0, a commanding lead and a big turnaround after what we saw.
Rise, they just need to get one on the board, okay? Get something going. A lot of these rounds have been close, and they've been getting closer to win them each and every round, but close ain't gonna get you nothing around here doing a fall major. You gotta come through. You gotta come exact ready to get this dub. 1v1 Monkyz, Avexys up top. We'll see if the move is made here. Is getting shaky down low at the winch as DeToX gets a shot over the top of the cover. The revive comes through, but still the pressure. Those L triggers from DeToX is too much there for Raver and Dezo. Even though the revive is there, they were able to get one kill. They being Rise, having a man advantage, they will find the second. Monkyz is only a matter of time before he gets angled out. And down low in the 1v1, you're going to already start to see that cross as Rise is trying to take two separate 2v1s. They will have the map control finally, but these players, not all of them are cleaned up, Jacob, as Monkyz still behind in enemy territory. He's just being a nuisance. Raver finds a kill. Monkyz still hasn't went down, and he almost wins that fight.
Bought some time, though, for his teammate kind of stretch and win one side of the map, but he doesn't even know he's getting flanked. That's a big opportunity from Rushiez again. How does Raver not see that one coming? Well, if you ask, I think it was the 1-2 punch combo with the Avexys being a big distraction. Now that they solidified the positioning on the top side of the map, they set their eyes towards that neutral hill. First flash grenade coming out. That's going to stun Chaoz and allow Avexys to move up. Second flash grenade coming out. That's going to force Chaoz back and allow Rise to take full control of the neutral positioning.
Can they get it through? They should be able to. No one's playing to win. Just 3 players on the lower side of the map. As Icy is able to get through the middle, that creates the flank on Chaoz, and Rise is feeling comfortable. 2 more kills needed for the trip cap domination to come through, and they get the last round of the first half. Officially, Rise, they're on the board. Now, I'm curious if we see any weapons go down. You think Rise can use anything to come back into this map, Jacob? A bow, a sniper, bottom mid, up top?
I want to see an Embar up top. And the main reason is... Actually, no, I actually don't. I'm very confused right now in my own self, just because that last round, Rise actually won it pretty convincingly. They forced the split up between PK, but yeah, I would like to see something for them to fight over. Maybe put it bottom middle so they can kind of split up the defense and allow their 2 duos to kind of work together a little bit more instead of kind of setting it into a 3v3 fight. Give Chaoz and Icy down low someone to work with.
And as you guys can see, when it comes down to the weapons that's already placed on the map, we got the 2 DeToX and the 2 shot grenades on the side. So everything is going to be even so far for both these squads. No one wants to take any risk just yet. I got to say, Monkyz is playing out of his mind. Only 5 deaths, 12 kills, 14 assists, something like that. Flip the assists and the kills. But with the shock being tossed out on top of the hill, it cannot be captured. But first blood comes out in the way of Rise. They're looking for the second as Monkyz backs up to play his life. We'll see on the kill feed if he keeps it down low. Raver, he's looking to go be aggressive and take over his opponent's home hill. And the Knights will be able to get there, but they won't get this E-hill.
They won't be able to advance too long because of the spawn up from Dezo. He's going to back up DeToX with the positioning as they fight for their own home hill back. The biggest silver lining for Rise is they won that neutral hill, so they're 1-for-1 in hills, even though their home hill did get decapped. As Rushiez just making sure to solidify the elimination, overextending, knowing that top hill is under siege, so they're at least getting something. And it's even better if their teammates win this fight towards the top side. Dezo going to drop. Monkyz is by himself, surviving. Reinforcements are there, but did they get there in time? Monkyz is still going to get eliminated. Raver gets 1, and all the pressure is on him, because if he goes down, so do the Pittsburgh Knights in this round, and he's buying so much time in the world, but it's up to this elimination, and he loses it. DeToX takes him out, and I do think that round is going to go over to Rise.
Man, Rise, they find another as they slowly get themselves back into the series. That was a big fight won by DeToX there, okay? He loses that. The Knights, they're still around. We're still here playing, but in the end, Rise is starting to clutch up. Don't want to lose this one in a 5-0 fashion, and they don't want to lose their first map of the day. I think that they finally put themselves in a good spot. The kills haven't been going their way. The entire team is going to be negative. A lot of assists there, but you can see DeToX and Avexys really crossing for the whole squad. And, you know, that kind of makes sense to me because a lot of the fights have been happening on the low side of the map, and that's pretty much where Icy and Rushiez domain is going to be at. So they're doing a lot of support for them, but we'll see if they can get it all tied up going into the next. As we see the engagement breaking out, there's going to be Raver taking down Rushiez. First blood over towards the Knights, and now they're looking to pinch the remaining 2 members of Rise, but Avexys fights his way out of that difficult situation. Him and DeToX, they can square up again with Raver as they work together. He takes that inside route. Beautiful shot to set himself up for the 1v1, Jacob. But can he get it? Versus Monkyz. The pinch is coming in from behind. 2v2 now, as you see Rise up top, putting down a lot of shots. Here's the third player. It turns into a 3v3, but ultimately it is going to be Rise who get the rest of these kills.
Great job by Rushiez to kind of extend down low, and with his Lancer shut down all hope from the Pittsburgh Knights. Rise doing a good job of climbing back into this game, and that's already a 2-0 map lead. So if they come back and deflate the Pittsburgh Knights, we could see a 3-0 as they do a good job of taking out this round. Retro Charge is basically a statement from Icy as they've now tied up map number 3 and taken away all momentum from the Pittsburgh Knights.
Man, with a round time of 1 minute and 11 seconds, Rise get this series all tied up 3-3. Just when it was looking like the Knights had caught fire, that they were about to get on the board and take us on over towards Reactor Control, a map in which they love playing a lot. In the end, Rise says, hold up, let's not get ahead of ourselves, and you guys shouldn't get ahead of yourselves. This map isn't overweight yet. And now the Knights, they got to get control over it once again, but you know, the player on your screen being Monkyz there, he's had a great performance so far with them getting up to that lead. He can't slow down just yet, as a lot of work still needs to be done. As Raver gets stunned out, a nice defensive back A there on Rushiez, but he couldn't get the down. A lot of pressure coming in from up top, and Avexys and DeToX, they'll get the double down. Chaoz, he's double back, trying to run away, getting away from Chaoz. Well, Chaoz backs up away from Icy, getting the kill. He'll have his incendiary grenade to take down DeToX. That could be a triple for him, but Icy will get rezzed, and he's back into the fight.
It's a great revive from Monkyz. Everybody backtracking to make sure they keep their teammates healthy. As Rise already has 2 hills, there's no reason for them to overstay this welcome, and that's why you see Rushiez and DeToX with a mad dash to the top side of the map. Avexys sneaks one, but that's just going to be a trade. 2 players from both teams still alive towards the top side, and another trade to go through. A great shock grenade to create some separation. Great decap coming out from Rushiez as well to go ahead and stop the bleeding, but Icy is on the southern portions of the map yet again. 1v1 against Chaoz, forcing him back. Chaoz hasn't been able to get anything going this round.
He hasn't, but he's gonna have to get it going soon. Get him a jump, find the cables, whatever you got to do. It's 3-3, and it's still anyone's game. You look at the score. This is where the Knights, they can flip the switch and say, hey guys, 2 rounds away, get this map on the board. Don't let it slip away just yet, as they will be able to find the first 2 kills. That's actually gonna be 3 down for Rise. This is a great time for the Knights to move in, Jacob, and get this domination.
Swarm, try to pressure these players, stop the revive from going through. It's going to be solidified, but their players are still trapped, even with a big flank coming through from Chaoz. Instead of getting that decap, he wants to solidify the eliminations, and nobody's getting through that. So it has to go over to a Pittsburgh Knights round, as they're 1 step away from ending this map and winning their first one in the series.
Here we go. They were able to focus up right there in that round 7 and not let this one, you know, get away from them, because I feel like if Rise would have won 4 in a row, man, that's just demoralizing, losing that lead in that fashion if you were on the side of the Knights. But they managed to just get to that map point first. Win or lose, they got to this map point first. They just got to come away with 1 more. The incendiaries are on the map. Ooh, we see a little comeback block come through. And that's a great play for Rise, but it's a different block on both ends of the map. Rise will have a shock. the Knights will have the Incendiary Grenade, and I think that's good for the Knights. You know, let Chaoz have that nades in that 1v1 position against Icy, but this is also where Rise can use the shot grenade and just really outplay them at E if they need to. Rise won't worry about it for now, though, okay? They says, hey, we're going to just play you square up, but Chaoz, he has the angle. Does he? His teammates are more forward-facing. He doesn't have to toss it just yet, but the pinch is there. Rise knew what the play may be, and they got PK trapped, all 3 players.
Yep. And look at that, getting that capture up top. So the longer they wait on the side of PK,
they gotta go out.
Yeah, the harder it's going to be.
Chaoz getting jumped. So 3 players all behind. They know it. The Knights, they get bamboozled here. They get outplayed. It's Mr. Krabs for real up in here as the trim cap's coming through. Rise on the heels. They're like, come on. You gotta be better than that.
I just think of that commercial. You gotta be quicker than that. You gotta be quicker than that. They're just dangling it right in front of their faces. But we got ourselves a tie game. Round number 9. A big lead from Pittsburgh Knights. All the momentum has been squandered out the window. We got our frag grenades in the middle. Or that's actually, yeah, I was gonna say in the middle. I thought it was towards DeToX for a second. But it looks like Pittsburgh Knights have some answers of their own. Ooh. Hovering towards Stern up top. Get a power weapon, get a hill, and it's going to be a drop shot. When was the last time we've seen a drop shot on this map?
It's been a hot minute, okay? Hell, it's been a real long time. But I will say, if you win that team fight, you put yourself in a good spot to get the drop. But look how many nades are on the bottom portion of the map with the home hills being there. If this gets extended, this would be a super scrappy round, okay? I don't know if it's gonna be as long as we think it is. Both incendiaries picked up. Chaoz takes out his own teammate. He threw it too soon. And now Rise with a main advantage. Icy has his nade. He may get aggressive on Chaoz, but up top, DeToX taken out. Monkyz tried to make up for the blunder, but Dezo goes down as well. More flames down. Chaoz, he has to clutch up and not allow his home hill to get capped. He needs to give his team at least one more fighting chance. And Rise, I'm like, you know what? We'll give it to you. Okay, we got the drop. We got the nades. Play into us if you want to.
Yeah, you got to. Right. You almost either want to put Rushiez in an offensive position with the rest of the team or up top by himself with that drop shot. You see all 4 members of PK bull rushing through the center of the map. They found the pick that they wanted onto Icy. That means the hill is going to go over to PK, so the bleeding has definitely stopped, but there's still a drop shot in the hands. Chaoz even got himself those frag grenades, though. That's something that I don't know if Rise knows about.
Oh, that's a good call out, Jacob. I didn't know that he had them. Ooh. They don't know that he has them, but that drop shot trickles over. He grabs it off the top. Icy, no active in the chamber, but he's looking at the exit routes. He wants 2. Dodges one more nade. He gets none. Trip cap domination for the win. But it's going to be Rise who find their home hill back as the Knights have the lead. No more power weapons in play. What's going to be the next one? We don't know just yet, but DeToX says, I got the next kill. 3v3 on the map.
Big elimination. Mr. Krabs coming through. Nobody's near either one of these hills. They split up and take 2 different ways. And Rise steal it. They
take it in 3-0 fashion. They don't lose a map for the day. Congratulations to them. The last 2 rounds, the Knights are scratching their head like, huh? Monkyz ain't got nothing to say. He ain't got nothing to say.
No celebration. He's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just here. That was probably DeToX. I know that's a different character. That's DeToX. I don't know what happened, bro. I was on respawn. I blinked and we won the round.
I know one thing. I know Ace, Complex, and Woo Smoke are all in the chat making some noise right now, okay? All the Rise fans came through. Talk about how to not lose a map for the day and really just put on a damn good show right there. And, you know, it really caught me off guard, okay, too, as well, how they did that one. But ultimately, Rise, they got it done because it was a split second, Jacob. We were looking, we were like, yo, PK got a 2-to-1 hill setup.
Right?
Then we saw the 3v3 on the map. DeToX gets a kill. He gets traded out. And then it was like, okay, everything looking good. All of a sudden, we blink. And it's a domination coming through. We missed it. It was crazy. But guess what? Who watched it all? It was the analyst. So Taylor, Ryan, Ribs, break it down.
First and foremost, that's heartbreaking to watch, man. It was almost like Pittsburgh Knights after that round number 7, round number 8. They kind of imploded after the Mr. Krabs, Ryan. Then all of a sudden, it's like another Mr. Krabs comes to end the game and end the series in a way of 3-0. And not to mention that also in that final round, the ensign kill off the rip, it was almost like Pittsburgh Knights had the win, or at least had the confidence. And then all of a sudden, Rise, after that Mr. Krabs, took all the confidence away from PK. And they just simply couldn't recover.
Yeah, I mean, even that final round was an interesting round too, right? You had the power up and in play, then you had the power up and player dying to nades, and his teammate picks up the power up, and I believe it was Icy. Icy goes and then wastes the final drop shot. So thinking, all right, this is everything that you want if you're PK, right? You didn't get the power up and off the initial control. No. You force them to actually waste it. All those things are things that help you win a round, right? But it somehow, some way ends in another sort of Mr. Krabs play. But as a whole, I mean, this was a very close series outside of map 1. The execution went down to the wire. The escalation went literally down to the wire. I mean, that's a Mr. Krabs away from going to a 4th map. So an excellent series nonetheless, but that's just quite the way to end the map.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking. It really is. I mean, because Pittsburgh Knights, they were up 3-0 ribs on map number 3. I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool. PK's going to win this. They lose the next 3, but they come back. They come back, and then all of a sudden Rise says, well, I'm kind of done playing here. I don't really want to go to a game 4. And while we don't go to a game 4, my concern with Pittsburgh Knights ribs is they started off the day losing to Team Queso. They did get a win, a little bit later on in their secondary matchup. But, this series against Rise, as close as it was, it still showed that Pittsburgh Knights, or at least it showcased to me that Pittsburgh Knights, they're hurting, man. They're really hurting, and they're struggling to find, I don't know if it's their identity, but they're for sure struggling to find wins.
Yeah, I mean, the Knights can't be happy about their performance. Obviously, 9-0 for Rise. Congratulations to them. Flawless on the day. As for the Knights, they're still in the tournament, I believe. They're going to have to just mark this down as a subpar performance. Not very clutch plays at all coming out from them. Definitely some nice plays here and there. I mean, they had a great showing in the beginning of that escalation. But yeah, like we said, Rise is a very strong Harbor escalation team. I don't think they're a great escalation team in general. And whoever it was that kept the comms clear during those last couple of rounds kept the big picture in order. I want to say it was Avexys or maybe even Rushiez sometimes. He's a very vocal player in escalation. They had that bigger picture, and I love that about them. Whereas PK was kind of just getting caught up in the chaos and the hectic moments, and just just in the right place at the right time was Rise in those last few rounds. And I think Chaoz, even though he threw that ensign and got the team kill, I think he did a great job on those last few rounds, keeping the team alive. Kind of reminiscent of the player that he replaced, Summons. He was doing a decent job on that home hill towards the end, but his team was losing the team fights. And Avexys was making great plays. On that final round, DeToX was in a 1v2 for a long time, ended up getting 2 kills. So you just have to mark it down to the Rise just being more clutch in this moment. The Knights are still alive, though. This is only day 1, Taylor. They could still bounce back at any given point.
That's a fact. I think with any of these top level teams, especially with the pedigree of some of the members of Pittsburgh, or really all the members of Pittsburgh Knights, 100%, they can come back. And, if they are in fact, we're going to be looking at the final poll standings in just a bit for A and C. But I just think Pittsburgh Knights need a win. Like, they need a solid win to make them feel confident. And I think more so than that, it's not a win against any team. They need a win against at least a team that's top 6 in order to make them feel like, okay, cool, we got this. We can, in fact, make a deep run in the major. I just really hope they don't get themselves too far down or beat themselves up too much, because that is a tough loss. That is a heavy loss, in my opinion, despite Tomb and Harbor being as close as they were. But Ryan Rise, like Rib said, undefeated for the day, and really showcasing why they were first place in Pro League. It's not a fluke anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, obviously, we're playing a new format, right? So this pool play format's going back to kind of like it was in Gears 4. For a lot of these teams, that's what you're expecting to do, right? You're supposed to come in as Rise, the number 1 seed. You're supposed to win those 3 matches.
Yes.
You're supposed to get the number 1 seed in your pool, and you're supposed to move on to the next day. That's exactly what Rise did. They came into this with first place. They looked like a first place team to me. They looked very, very strong, and see what they got in store for us tomorrow.
Yeah, it's looking pretty stacked at this point, right? Noble, Pioneers, Rise, all three looking undefeated at this point in time. Obviously, some matches still to go, but really liking what I'm seeing from our standout teams that you would expect to be standout on the first day. Let's start looking at some results, though, some standings for today, because it's been a long one. We still have some more to go. We'll give you the over-encompassing view, but the big key takeaway, let's look at A and C right now, which are going to be wrapping up, or should be wrapped up. Rise finished off, as we said, map win percentage 100%, right? They went 9-0, 3-0 in terms of win and loss. Team Queso, for me, Ribs, the big standout, right? They had such a great performance today.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line with Team Queso, as we said it, Ryan pointed out, this is former pro level team. This is former pro players. What it came down to is during that qualifying series, they just ended up getting upset. They could have been in Pro League this whole time. So what did they do? They go into challengers. They play week in and week out. Hopefully they got some scrims against the pro level teams that knew they were good practice. And sure enough, they come in today and they get a big upset against the Knights. And now they're going into tomorrow with a better position. We don't know the bracket yet. Obviously, B and D need to finish. But great on Queso to battle through challengers, not play in Pro League, and still have a chance here to make a lot of money in the major.
And obviously, T Gaming has been eliminated. We look at now Pool C. Casa de Papel at the bottom, 0-3. They definitely had some tough competition. Key takeaway, obviously, Pioneers, just like Rise, 100% map win percentage, 3-0 or 9-0, whichever way you look at it. Oxygen, pretty much exactly where I would put them, Ryan, right? I mean, second place. This pool, not as many shakeups.
Yeah, this pool ended probably how most people would expect, right? The Kansas City Pioneers did what they do best. They cleaned up shop. That was a pretty easy 3-0. You saw Oxygen with that 2-1 record, right? They're supposed to win that match over Hive. They're supposed to win that match over Casa de Papel. And then you have Hive obviously losing to, Oxygen Pioneers and winning the match against Casa de Papel, right? So this pool to me was about as textbook as you could ask for.
Yeah, definitely so. Textbook indeed. And I'm actually glad we got at least one textbook pool, because things at the beginning were looking like we were just going to have a wild day. Speaking of which, we have a couple of pools still to get through. A and C have concluded, but we still, of course, have B and D to get through. And that's going to push us into round number 6. But so far, things are shaping up quite nicely. To finish off tonight, let's take a look at our round 6 schedule. This will be the final matches we will see. E United will face off against Rebel. That's going to be happening here on main broadcast. But of course, Noble will be playing against Fury 1 Esports. That's going to be taking place at twitch.tv/UMG Gaming. Elevate will then play against Certified, and then Fire and Ice will play against Zero Tolerance for our final matches of the day. E United Rebel, boys, we've been waiting for this one all night. E United, they've been having some tough series. Rebel, obviously looking pretty flawless at this point. I think they haven't dropped the map. If I'm not mistaken, they're 6-0. So, hey, it's looking like this one might not go the way we were initially expecting it to go at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the hardest matches to call all day. I mean, we all predicted Knights to win versus Team Queso. We got that one wrong, but no one really knew what Team Queso was bringing to the table. True. This time around, it's two teams that we've been watching throughout this whole split of Pro League, but we're not seeing that United play well today. But then again, they might pull it out versus Rebel. It's going to be a tough one to call, but that's what you love to see in Gears Esports. I can't wait to see this matchup unfold.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. One that, they might meet each other in the bracket, whether it be tomorrow or, of course, on Sunday. I think they're pretty much solidified where they're at, but you definitely want that victory at least to give you that added benefit, that added boost heading into the championship bracket. Guys, it's going to be an amazing series. We are going to take a break, but before we do, just to recap, remind you, hey, this is a great matchup. Rebel versus E United. North America versus Latin America. Make sure you think twice about who you're going to be putting your channel points behind, because, hey, it could go either way. E United and Rebel coming up after this.